Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring Surah Hud. That's the 11th chapter of the Quran.
Right.
And we're thinking of this as a focused look at the story of Prophet Hud and his people, the Ad, trying to really pull out the core understanding.
Exactly. And, while it reads like a historical account on the surface, the amazing thing about Surah Hud is just how much timeless wisdom is packed in there.
Hmm.
These aren't just old stories. They offer these fundamental principles about life, things that are still incredibly relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. And our goal today in this deep dive, it isn't really to get bogged down in every historical detail.
Right.
It's more about uncovering those key messages, the practical stuff, the insights in Surah Hud that can actually offer some real guidance. Maybe we should start with the very foundation, Prophet Hud's message.
Yeah, good place to start. That foundational call, it's right there in verses 50 and 51. Prophet Hud speaks directly to his people. He says, serve Allah, you do not possess any deity other than Allah.
Wow, straight to the point.
It's a powerful, clear declaration of monotheism, just the one God. And you have to remember, in that context, that was, pretty radical. It stood out against all the polytheism around them.
And right after that declaration, there's this sharp critique, calling the idea of associating partners with God basically a fabrication, right?
Yes, an invention with no basis.
But what really strikes me is Hud's sincerity. He makes it so clear he's not looking for any personal reward. His reward, he says, is with Allah.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes you pause and think about, why we do things. What are our real motivations?
It does. It's a fundamental question, isn't it? What's actually driving us? When we try to learn something, or when we act, are we just looking for, external praise or validation?
Or is it deeper?
Or is there, a genuine commitment to truth, a purpose that goes beyond just personal gain? For you listening, especially if you're seeking knowledge, it highlights how powerful that genuine curiosity can be, learning for its own sake.
Absolutely. And that connects nicely to another really powerful idea in verse 52, the power of, forgiveness and repentance.
Ah, yes. Here Hud is urging his people, request forgiveness of your Lord and turn unto him. And look what comes next. Promises.
Big promises.
Significant ones. Plentiful rain, think prosperity, abundance, crucial for survival then, and increased strength. That suggests, influence, resilience as a community.
So there's this explicit link being drawn between doing the inner work, the spiritual rectification, admitting fault, turning back to God, and, actual tangible benefits in the world. It's that kind of aha moment where you realize maybe my inner state does affect my outer world, not necessarily like a magic transaction, but
more about how aligning yourself with that higher purpose, that sense of rightness, you can really shape your actions, your outlook, and that, in turn, could lead to better outcomes.
yeah, makes sense.
Think about it psychologically, too. Letting go of guilt, seeking reconciliation, that creates a more positive inner space, right? And from there, you're likely to engage with the world more constructively.
True.
And the verse is also pretty clear about the alternative. Rejecting this path, that means being seen as transgressors, criminals even, facing potential downfall.
Okay, so moving on a bit, verses 53 and 54 show us how the Ad actually responded to this message. And it wasn't exactly welcoming.
No, not at all. Significant resistance is putting it mildly. They basically dismiss his arguments, say they're not convincing.
Stubborn.
Very. They refuse point blank to ditch their old gods, their traditions. And they even flip it around, accusing their own gods of somehow afflicting Hud, making him say these things.
Wow. That's quite the defense mechanism.
It is. And, it's a common human reaction, isn't it? When core beliefs get challenged, people dig in.
But Hud's reaction is just, wow.
Yep.
He doesn't back down an inch. He stays completely firm, says Allah is his witness, declares himself innocent of all their associations. It really speaks volumes about steadfastness, holding on to your convictions.
It absolutely does. It highlights the kind of inner strength you need to stick to what you believe is right, especially when you're facing criticism or doubt or even slander.
Yeah.
And think about today, with just information overload everywhere, developing that kind of solid inner conviction based on real thought and good sources, it's crucial for navigating all the noise.
Definitely. Which then leads us into verses 55 and 56, where this unwavering trust just goes to another level. It's extraordinary.
It really is.
Hud basically throws down the gauntlet. He says, plot against me together and do not grant me a chance. I mean, that takes some serious faith.
It's such a profound display of reliance on God's will. And then he follows it up immediately. Behold, upon Allah my Lord, and on your Lord do I rely. It's total surrender, isn't it? Recognizing that ultimate power rests elsewhere.
And then that powerful image comes right after. Not a creature's there upon earth, which is not that Sam. He is grasping by the forelock. That just paints such a vivid picture of, well, God's absolute control over everything, that idea of grasping the forelock that meant total dominance in their culture.
Yes, exactly. Complete control. And notice what immediately follows the reassurance. Behold, my Lord is on a straight path.
Ah, so justice.
Precisely. It reinforces the idea that even when things look chaotic or you're facing adversity, there's an underlying divine justice, a truth, a wisdom guiding things. It's about placing your trust in that bigger picture, especially when things feel overwhelming or unfair.
So, okay, even when the ad do ultimately reject his message, which is what happens in verses 57 to 60, Hud's stance doesn't change.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I've delivered the message. If you turn away, that's on you. Allah will replace you. The consequences described after that are, well, they're severe.
They are. The text describes their destruction, linking it directly to their defiance, the rejection of clear guidance. It serves as a really potent reminder about accountability and about the potential consequences of just persistently ignoring what's presented as truth. It makes you reflect on the responsibility that comes with being given knowledge and the choices we make based on it.
And that final statement about them is just so stark. Ad denied, therefore, Ad is a rebel. It just sums it all up, their actions, their fate.
It really encapsulates the whole narrative arc for them. It's a powerful illustration of, well, the serious consequences tied to rejecting what's understood as divine guidance.
So if we kind of zoom out now and look at the whole Surah Hud, it really feels like more than just this one story. It's like a comprehensive guide.
It absolutely is. It weaves together these enduring themes, doesn't it? That core idea of monotheism, the unity of God. Then there's accountability not just here, but beyond this life.
Right, the day of resurrection.
Exactly. And the transformative power, we talked about repentance, seeking forgiveness, and ultimately the idea that truth will prevail over falsehood.
And that theme of divine justice seems to run through everything, doesn't it?
It really permeates the surah, this sense that there's a moral fabric to the universe. Righteousness gets rewarded eventually, and wrongdoing has its consequences.
And throughout all these different stories within the surah, there's this consistent call, isn't there, for patience, for unwavering faith in God's plan, especially when times are tough.
Definitely.
So for you listening, we really hope this exploration has given you a maybe quick but hopefully thorough feel for some of the really deep insights within Surah Hud.
Yeah, indeed. We've touched on that bedrock principle of monotheism and what it means for having sincere intentions. We looked at the potential in seeking forgiveness, turning towards a higher purpose.
The importance of staying true to your beliefs.
Right, that steadfastness and the strength you can find in trusting a greater power, plus that unavoidable reality of accountability for what we choose to do.
So maybe here's a final thought, something for you to chew on. How do these ancient ideas about belief, about action, about consequence, how do they actually connect with the complex lives we lead today?
Good question.
When you're navigating modern challenges, making decisions, could these lessons maybe offer a kind of framework, a way to live with perhaps a bit more purpose, a deeper sense of how our inner lives connect to everything around us?
It's worth considering.
Maybe take a moment after this to just reflect which of these life lessons we talked about today, monotheism, forgiveness, steadfastness, trust, accountability, which one really stands out for you right now? And maybe ask yourself why.